On today's expose, we talk about Mojo.
Mojo.
He's very gross.
Yes.
Mojo debuted in Longshot number 3 in November of 1985, created by Ann Nocenti and Art Adams. The funny thing with Longshot and Mojo is they weren't created for X-Men. This guy had an idea to make this whole world of like what happens if people just got so obsessed with TV that they basically turn into these big fat blobs with no spines. And so he wrote this whole like 4-part series called Longshot. And Marvel was like, this is a cool idea, but I don't think it's going to hold up by itself. So we'll do it, but we're going to add it into X-Men. So that's how Longshot and Mojo became part of that world.
Wow. And inspired Wally.
Yeah, basically.
I go where I want to go. Jean.
Scott!
Jean?
Scott! I summon the Arctic winds!
No more mutants!
I summon the Arctic winds!
No more mutants!
I summon the Arctic winds!
No more mutants! There's always more gators in the bayou.
Don't get a boomer.
Yes.
Hello, welcome to
Last
this week's
week's
Solving for X. My name is Sean.
That's it?
Oh, the
That's all
ultimate excavationist.
There we go. And I'm something of an X-fan myself, Kevin.
And we have friend of the pod, Uber friend of the pod, Aaron with
Yes.
us. Hi, Aaron.
Oh, I'm an Uber friend now. My goodness. I'm
Friend of
so
all the
excited.
pods.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be here. When you gave me this episode, I was like, wow, you must know me so well because this is exactly let me say this, like our names, Aaron, Sean, and Kevin, if you want a wonderfully weird and wild, fun podcast, all you have to do is ask. And we shall appear for you.
And we shall appear.
Yes. This episode gave me some. Can I make a Charmed analogy here? Wow, I
Of
feel
course.
I can't believe I'm at the point where I can make Charmed analogies now. But yeah, I got 3 episode vibes from this. If I remember this correctly, I want to say season 5, episode 1. A Witch's Tale. I got that vibes. I got season 6, episode 15, I Dream of Phoebe, and season 6, episode 21, Witch Wars.
Correct.
Ooh.
Wow.
Beautiful. You've
Yeah.
been quizzing yourself. I appreciate that.
Gotta keep up with the times, But yeah, the whole time I was just going, what am I watching? Why does Mojo look like a baby between Urgot from League of Legends and Jabba the Hutt? Like, what am I watching right now?
Oh, I just think he looks like Trump.
Keep that in mind. Keep a pin in that.
Okay.
I've got stuffs that real world stuffs that are linked to this episode.
Oh,
But I'll wait till we get
shit.
into it a little bit.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, so just to let the listeners know, so Aaron took the massive undertaking of watching all of Charmed and then listening to us on Hanging with the Hollowells, and now you're taking the massive undertaking of watching this X-Men show for your first time, which is crazy.
I know, and I'm starting to read the comics too. It's just like,
What is happening?
I like, I was a little curious, and I just started watching, and then you both dragged me down into your respective holes, and I just can't get out. So
Yeah.
I didn't think we were going to tell anybody about that.
I know. Oops, cat's out the bag now.
So how are you enjoying your comic journey?
I'm excited by it. I'm very excited by it. I think there's a lot of information to download, but as I'm going through, it's quite the journey, and I have my own, I guess, mutants that I stan.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see their stories because I grew up with the movies, the early 2000s movies. So it was very, yeah, I'm excited to get into this side of it now that I'm older. And not to date myself, but I am 6 months younger than this episode. So that is how long this episode has been out. My birthday's in a couple weeks. I'm just feeling, I'm feeling retrospective on my own
Yes.
age.
Retrospective
Yay!
and the energies and the histories.
Yeah.
Well, now that everybody knows how old you are, let's say when this episode came out. February 5th, 1994.
Yep.
Yes.
Cool. And then before we get into the episode, I did have some answers from our previously on. We didn't get as many responses because it was a more like you had to sit and write something kind of question.
You couldn't just go click.
But we got a few.
I have to think. Yeah.
So we had Legion Ivory said, honestly, the question was, do episodes like Beauty and the Beast help kids not other people, basically? So does it help us be more accepting? And Legion Ivory said, honestly, kids don't really need help being accepting. It's the adults who lack the empathy. So that's very similar to what Kevin said.
It is, yeah.
And then Words of the Witches said, it certainly helps to set up examples of humanity and definitely can influence kindness.
Words of the Witches. I wonder who that is.
I wonder who that is. And we had X Reads Podcast and X-Men Children both said yes. So they agree that it does help set up the right morals.
Cool.
Ooh.
Cool. Thank you, everybody who answered that.
Yeah. Speaking of Words of the Witches, for those of you who are listening, I am wearing the Words of the Witches canonical.
I just noticed that. That's beautiful. I love it.
You can buy it on the shop. Shameless plug here.
Yes. Oh, I love it. It's so beautiful. Because I haven't seen one in person.
Color. Yeah. Well, yeah. If I ever visit you, I will show you in person.
Okay, cool.
What it looks like.
Yeah, I have my Rhyme Time shirt and I have my Tips for Future White Letters shirt that I have, but I haven't gotten that one. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about Words of the Witches.
So today's episode is Mojovision, and yes, that is why I asked Aaron on here for a few reasons. Number one, it's a kooky episode, so I wanted to get like a first-time watcher's point of view, but also a first-time watcher who is obsessed with reality TV.
Yes.
Hey, that's me. Oh my gosh.
It's meant to be.
Oh my god!
How did you know?
Well, I listened to you in your entirety on Pod Friends, where I learned all about your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you give a little bit of a history about your connection to reality TV?
Yeah, I grew up watching reality TV. It started with singing competitions because I was at a point where I was like wanted to be on like American Idol, and so you think you can dance and stuff. And then as I got older, I got more into strategy and cerebral stuff. So I like got into like Survivor, Big Brother, Amazing Race, and I just went down the whole rabbit hole. And I've watched all kinds of reality TV since then. And I started helping out with a reality TV podcast. Rob has a podcast since 2012, and so 10 years later, here we are, and I'm here talking about Mojovision, which I'm very
It all led
excited
to this moment.
Yeah,
I was made for this moment.
I'm sorry for the rest of your life. It's going to be boring because this is where it peaks.
Oh yes, okay. The only way it would be better was if we were in person. That's the peak for me. But
Yeah.
That's all right. There's already plans for both of you to move to LA. So whether you know about it or not, I will see you soon.
I guess so. Okay.
All right. And Mojovision, written by Brooks Watchtell, directed by Mr. Larry Houston. All right, shall we get into it, ladies?
Yes.
Yes, we shall.
The brood-like creatures slowly
The
climb up
Brood!
to Longshot.
Sorry, I was getting excited about the Brood.
You are? You're
I
a
saw
big
them.
Brood fan?
Well, I was like happy that I recognized them. I'm like, I know these things, and so anyway.
Yeah. They climb up to Longshot as he mulletly uses weapons to keep them and other creatures at bay. Longshot jumps in a car and is dramatically chased until the car is a submarine and then a floating bike. Longshot dramatically jumps onto a mountain and we see the logo for his show, Longshot. Did I mention his name is Longshot?
And he's definitely got Maybelline. 90s Maybelline.
Oh, yeah. Have both of you heard of Longshot before?
Yes.
No.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
what
he-
is Longshot's deal?
So he has luck power, which I don't know why he has like the glowy eye to go with that. I think they just liked glowy eyes at the time. But yeah, he has luck power, so things are more likely to go his way. He also has hollow, like bird-like bones, so he's lighter, so he's more agile.
Oh,
That is-
did he
that
like
is a
grow
feather
up
stiff as a board.
on a different planet to have different?
Yes,
bone
he
density?
grew up in the Mojoverse. And what's really weird, I think I've probably ranted about this maybe on this show and other shows. Longshot has a really weird origin story where he gets with Dazzler. We love our Dazzler. They make a baby. The baby is sent to the future where the baby is cloned into Longshot. And then Longshot is sent to the past where he has sex with Dazzler. And they have a baby, and then that baby's cloned into the future.
So he's his own father.
Yeah, it's weird. And the
does that
baby actually,
work?
the baby is Shatterstar, who we see in X-Force later, and who is actually a queer character. But yeah,
Do they interact at all, or is it just like they
They
exist
do a little
in
bit.
Okay.
I think the problem is for years they wouldn't say if Shatterstar was their child or not. And so by the time they finally like confronted it, because it was talked about but never solidified. So I think the writer who made this decision was like, I want to give them a yes, but I want to make it complicated somehow.
Always got to make it complex, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how does Longshot's powers differ from Domino's powers?
They're actually pretty much the same,
Okay.
only he's got like the hollow bone thing going on, whereas Domino doesn't have anything with her bones, but she's also very agile and strong too. So yeah, they're very much the same.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, and we had 2 cameos in this scene. Did anyone notice these cameos?
Come out, wherever you are.
Don't worry about us, Dingo. We'll make sure we can.
Cameo.
Besides the Brood.
Besides the Brood, there's that woman. That woman looked familiar to me with her hair.
With the
Everyone has
purple
beautiful
hair.
The purple hair. I think I know who that was, but she's like, I don't know. It was such a like a sitcom, like a cartoon show animated opening. Like it's like a very meta of this
Yeah.
show. It's very
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. And
So
Longshot
the
walked
purple hair
off with
lady-
the cameos?
Mm-hmm. What was that, Aaron?
Longshot walked off with the cameos. The 2 cameos in this.
Well, in one part, it showed like a purple hair lady close up, which was Psylocke. Kevin called it out. And the other cameo, I actually missed the first time. I had to rewatch, but there's a really quick blink and you'll miss it shot of Longshot fighting the Super Adaptoid, which is kind of a lesser known villain from the earlier comics. If you're
I didn't know
looking
that
for
one.
him, he's wearing all green and he has like beetle wings on his back.
Oh,
Yeah, but you're
Big
gonna see
bad
there's a
beetle
lot of
boards.
cameos. Oh no!
there's a lot. I've seen a lot. Like I have seen a lot. Some of them I recognize, some of them I didn't recognize. But I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
Mojo watches the long shot opening with disgust. He calls for Major Domo. Ratings are down. He walks in on Longshot getting prepped for the camera. Mojo grabs Longshot in anger. He's mad that the action figures aren't selling, and my nose hair has more talent than you. Let me pull it out of my nose.
It looks like you in a tuxedo.
Oh my goodness. Longshot talks back to Mojo and he gets thrown across the room. Longshot dares Mojo to try to replace him. It's a long shot. After Longshot leaves, Major Domo shows Mojo the X-Men and suggests making them their next target while the theme song plays in the background. This is not meta at all. Much like any kid in the 90s, Mojo falls in love with the X-Men instantly. He wants them. They're from some backwater dimension, but we'll make it work.
Mm-hmm.
The way you read that, I felt like I was being told a fairy tale by someone from Nightmare Before Christmas. Nicely done. So we had another cameo here. Did you notice Dazzler?
I have noticed her, yes.
Okay, that's who that
Yes,
was.
so she
Okay.
was, she was Longshot's assistant. This one kind of bothers me though because next season she's in the show, so it's weird that we see her in the Mojo verse. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I feel like Mojo is just basically a metaphor for Haim Saban.
Oh, I mean, at the time, probably. I mean, yeah, because he was. People did not like him so much, but they knew he was successful, and they knew he made successful stuff. So,
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and I remember Austin St. John, especially. Every time he's asked a question about Saban, he's like, he gets so mad. It's like I don't like the man, you know. So
Yeah. And yeah, the last thing I noticed, I loved Mojo's antacid. It actually said that on the packaging, Mojo's antacid.
and it was definitely inspired by Pepto Bismol.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, here we go. Three.
3.
Three.
Mojo and Major Domo Origato, Mr. Roboto, watch Scott and Jean shopping for a TV at the mall from their monitors. As Scott and Jean discuss the TV sitch with the salesman, I love it. He's like, "This is the finest television available today."
He talks like the president.
I was like, "What is this?"
An accident? How could somebody have an accident with a TV or what?
Yeah. What
Yeah.
what is happening with this remote control? Oh, anyway, Mojo appears on every screen. Mojo tells them he's a big fan and wants them to star in his shows. Scott tells Mojo to kick rocks, and him and Jean prepare to leave. Mojo zaps them, and Jean has a Jean-gasm. And I love it. When Cyclops carried her to the bench, her bosom was just like, I'm like sexy sleepy Jean boobs. It was great.
Only you.
Jean is knocked unconscious. Okay, yes. So this is where we get that moment. Scott gets her to safety and then goes back in to attack the evil TV monitors. Mojo zaps Scott and Jean comes to Scott's aid. Enter Wolverine, Storm, and Beast. Mojo calls for Spiral, who boobily, she has boobs too. And I love her though. She's such like a fairy godmother, like doing her little spin. She's like, woo, woo, yes. And it's like bibbidi bobbidi boobily comes out of the TV and dance magics everyone to Mojo's dimension.
I loved the animation. I don't know how. Yeah, I just loved every part of this. Every time she's on the screen, I was just like, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not know.
She's really cool.
I did not remember she was in this episode, so I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, she actually also debuted in the Longshot miniseries and Longshot number 1 in September of '85. So she's always been very connected to Longshot. She actually, I love her real name was Rita Wayward, not Hayward, Wayward. And she went by Ricochet Rita. She has enhanced strength, flight, telepathy, teleportation. She's skilled in sorcery and metamorphosis.
Yeah.
And one thing with her is her and Longshot were an item, but then to get back at Longshot, Mojo took Rita, put her in what's called the body shop, gave her a few extra arms, and then threw her back out there as someone to kill Longshot. So she kind of went through like an amnesia thing. So it was like the ultimate revenge.
Wow.
Wow.
It's dark.
Mm-hmm. Let's lighten it up a little with the 90s moment. These TV
90s
screens.
moments.
90s moment.
Don't have a hat, man.
You got mail.
90s moments.
Yeah.
And I put here that Mojo definitely is Chaim Saban because he ate a producer for lunch.
You know. Yeah.
You know? Back in the Mojoverse, a crowd cheers as the X-Men appear in an energy box. Mojo magically makes them appear in their uniforms. Cyclops threatens Mojo, who gets upset. Mojo tells the X-Men that crowds want entertainment and action. Mojo tells the X-Men that they will star in his shows, and if the ratings are bad, then the show and the X-Men in it will be canceled permanently. Mojo calls on the control room, who is actually just Spiral, and tells her it's showtime. Storm and Cyclops disappear.
Qua? Where did they go?
Cool.
Oh no!
All right.
Ooh.
Scene. Next one.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, yeah. Okay. I can read. Cyclops and Storm in Miami Mutants. Cyclops and Storm rush along in a boat. Storm is confused as to how they got there. High-tech copters chase the duo. Scott presses the push me button, somehow knowing what it will do. The boat turns into a flying device and they take to the air. They narrowly avoid a copter. Storm flies up and calls on the elements to take out the remaining enemies. Scott helps a little, I guess. The two complete the show and appear in metal life-size cards back in Mojo's arena. Can we talk about these metal life-size cards? Because I don't know. I don't know what it was about the angle or how they drew him, but I've never fallen for Cyclops so hard as to watch him in that pose. It hit every angle was just hit right. I don't know what it was. Like he caught my eye. I was very surprised. Yeah, there's in K-pop there's this term called bias wrecker. Who you have your bias, the person that you're into, and then your bias wrecker is this person that just comes in and just out of nowhere, and you're like, oh! And yeah, Cyclops is definitely the bias wrecker for me in this episode because wow, my goodness, they drew him so well for this.
He can surprise you in all the strangest ways.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, and since they're being honest with this deep, dark secret and revelation, there was a shot of the X-Men in their energy box, and it showed Cyclops from upper behind, so you get a nice little butt shot, and I was kind of like, hi, butt shot, Cyclops. So I had that moment too.
Coming to the Cyclops side, yes, thank you.
Damn it.
No, he got us again.
So I want you to keep this in mind. I'm going to be asking as we go. I want to know what you thought of Miami Mutants. Would you watch this show?
Okay.
Ooh.
Should we answer now?
Yeah, tell me. Would you watch it?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think Cyclops and Storm are such a cute little team up. I love seeing them together because it doesn't always happen like this. So I'm like, oh, it's nice to just seeing them isolated together doing their thing. Because they both were leaders of the X-Men at some point or another.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, leaders with leaders doing things, fighting stuffs. And Miami is a beautiful, sexy place. So I imagine just lots of beautiful, sexy things happening all the time, every day with these two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be a great show. I mean, I already love them both individually, so seeing them together like this, yeah, it's something that I haven't really seen before from what I've watched of X-Men in my life, and seeing them together, it was really, really cool. It was like a really nice match. I feel like they balance each other very well, and I think, yeah, seeing them in danger and trying to get out of it is a fun thing to watch. I would absolutely watch, and I would eat it all up. And obviously,
Nice.
Miami, gotta get some fun beach shots as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Swimsuit edition,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Just for the science.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the science. And are we all in agreement that Miami Mutants is Miami Vice? Like, basically making fun of it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Mojo is excited by the response from Miami Mutants. If we were being in that poll, we would be in that crazy skyrocketed numbers he's never seen before in his lifetime. But he is upset that he may have to let Cyclops and Storm live. Oh, these are my rating makers. I can't kill them now. So sad. Jean argues with Mojo about his morality. Mojo don't care, though. Mojo calls on Control Room to start show 2. Control Room! Where's my spiral, lady? Longshot hears Control Room and gets an idea. Spiral spins the energy box, and Beast and Rogue are the next to disappear.
I love Spiral's line right here. I've got to get someone to help with the filing. She's filing her nails. It's her nails.
Yes. Very fun. Very good joke there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
this
the thing is,
is good jokes.
Right. And the thing is, like, you got to get someone to help you when you got 6 arms or whatever. Like,
That's a lot of filing.
uh-huh.
That is. But it's funny because some of the arms are metal. Do you really have to file those ones?
Yeah, gotta keep them extra sharp. I don't know.
Okay,
So,
okay.
you got to weld those ones. And
There you go. All right. Out of the blackness of space comes Rogue Star, starring Hank McCoy as the Beast and Rogue as Rogue.
I noted that. I'm like, that was so funny. We don't know her name yet.
We don't know.
It's Anna
A
Marie.
small ship.
Yes.
Yeah, Anna Marie.
Okay.
A small ship races through space with a much larger ship on its tail. Rogue and Beast are flying the small ship. Rogue worries Beast when she flips a bitch and flies directly at the larger ship. The large ship shoots a canister full of the Brood at the ship. They attack as Rogue struggles with the ship's controls. They're aimed right at the sun. One of the Brood open the ship doors and Beast is sucked out as Rogue crashes into the sun. Rogue and Beast appear on metal cards next to Scott and Storm. That is all.
That is all.
This was dramatic.
It really was. If this was an actual series, I mean, I know we were pressed for time in a short, 20-minute episode, but I feel like if this was an actual series, I feel like I'd want more of the story before this moment, because this feels like a season finale-esque kind of episode, because I don't really know how you can continue if they're burnt to a crisp,
Yes.
floating in space.
Space.
But,
I was like, what is happening
Yeah.
to them? How are they going to get out of this?
I was like, how are they alive? Like,
And I'm like, yeah, I guess he saved him before death or whatever, or maybe it
Yeah.
wasn't real to begin with. But I'm like, this is like, you killed them in the show. I
Yeah,
like this.
yeah.
yeah.
And this one, like, is this Star Wars? Are we thinking? It seems Star Wars to me.
Yeah, I mean, this was pre, Rogue One, but I like to imagine that, That's the first thing I
And
thought of.
yeah. And would you rather watch this or Miami Mutants?
I'd rather watch Miami Mutants. I feel like this one, I'd have to be in a certain mood to watch this one, especially if they're going to be dying and, in
Yeah.
actual mortal danger.
Like, I'm not a crazy space person. I do enjoy space stories, but it's not my go-to. It has to be like the right one, not Star Wars.
How dare you?
I know. But I don't know. I would be interested. I'd be curious about it, but I'd probably be more into the Miami one just because I haven't gotten that hook yet from the show.
Okay. See, for me, it's Rogue and it's space, so I'm like, I'd probably watch this.
Yes.
Back at the arena, Mojo calls on Spiral to commence the third and final show. The energy box flips and Jean and Wolvie are gone, which, I mean, we already knew that they were disappearing. I don't know why we had to go through the whole, like, ooh, I wonder who's going to disappear this time.
There's only two
Yeah.
left.
Exactly.
What would have been a twist is if they had Gambit and Jubilee like show up on a show because you didn't see them get taken.
Yeah, I wanted to see Jubilee try to fly something because I wanted to see if they actually knew how to drive or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Gambit and Jubilee would have been gold for a show. Like, they're just such characters.
Yes, that would have been so good in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jubilee would just giving Gambit side eye, and Gambit will call her fat, and it'll be like the greatest team up ever.
I'm sweaty.
Like, do I trust you? Do I trust you?
Shut up, fat.
Also, I have to get this out of my system. Okay. Jubilee. Okay.
Jubilee, yes.
Jubilee.
I can't say Jubilee the same anymore. I have to say Jubilee.
So we had a few more cameos here. Like, throughout this show in the audience, we can see Awesome Android, which is like a big bulbous-headed looking guy, like a square head. Dragon Man, which is like a purple half dragon, half man. And then just the Skrulls in general are in the audience.
Oh, in the audience. So many characters in the audience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I
have
wonder if
questions
any
about
of
the
these will be
audience, which I'll
on
bring
the
up later,
quiz.
sorry, what was that?
I have questions about the audience, which I will bring up later when that scene comes.
Okay. So scene 9. Wolverine and Jean starring in I Dream of Jean! Not I Dream of Phoebe, not I Dream of Jeannie, but I Dream of Jean. Wolverine starts off climbing a building to get to Jean. Jean is too busy telling Wolvie that it's not real to notice. The Punisher bot's behind her. It shoots at her. Wolverine jumps into the nearest window and is confronted by the 3 more machines. They take on the forms of Imperial Guard. Oh, Imperial Guard, period. Wasn't Gladiator one of these? Or was that earlier?
He was.
Okay. Wolverine easily dispatches them. So funny. Why are we laughing?
It's the construction of the back.
Oh yeah.
What? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just had a lot of beans. So yes, these are the Imperial Guard, like you said. One of them's Gladiator. We also have Flashfire, who's like the one with the electric powers, and Earthquake is the gross, like gray alien-looking thing.
Yeah. Is there like Shi'ar peoples or Shi'ar alien things?
Yeah, and again, this is funny because we see them next season in a big way. So it's interesting how many cameos they crammed in here, not expecting to get more show.
Right.
Yeah.
There's also just to me something about the way they drew the black line on Jean's outfit that I was like, box! It's her box! All right, are we ready for the next scene?
I'm ready.
All right. Back on the roof, Jean is on the run from the Punisher. We hear Mojo say these are the highest ratings ever for an educational show, which is definitely what this is.
Yeah,
Jean
absolutely.
creates a shield. Yep. Jean creates a shield and is blasted off the roof. Dangling from a roof is her best time to think, though. She realizes they're just machines. A very much shirtless Wolverine is blasted onto the roof. The Punisher ditches Jean to go after Logan. Jean uses her powers to affect the machines.
Yes.
Now, how does I Dream of Jean stand up against the other shows?
It doesn't give me the parody vibes that I was looking for. I'm like,
Yeah.
where's the I Dream of Genie like parallels?
I thought we were gonna get like an ironic, like putting Wolverine in like a
Honey, I'm home.
crime situation. Yeah, like something that he would never be caught dead in actual life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because this is the one I remembered the most before rewatching. I remembered there was an I Dream of Jean reference, but yeah, I didn't remember it being so lame.
Yes. I wanted like that WandaVision callback.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
was like, oh, I was like kind of excited for it, but then it didn't really turn out that way.
Yeah, they even showed like Mojo holding the genie lamp and like rubbing it, and they didn't do anything with that.
For a shame. They could have had some really cool, fun times with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back in the arena, Mojo as a cow as the programming is interrupted. Spiral loses control of the control room. The crowd gets angry as the screens go blank. In the control room, Longshot comes in to set the X-Men free. All of our favorite heroes appear in the arena and take out Mojo and his arena. Spiral and Longshot dance burgers in and help the X-Men.
Yay!
Yay!
Good.
Yeah, luckily Longshot's jealous.
It's like, I'm the movie star. I'm the television hero. Yes.
Is this the part where the audience goes away?
Yes.
Okay, so I have questions about this because I was like, okay, if the audience was Mojo's creation, then like, what are these imaginary numbers and sponsors and views and like, are people actually watching from other universes elsewhere in the Mojoverse? Like, where is this imaginary audience?
Right.
Yeah, from my understanding, people are watching it just in the Mojoverse. But yeah, it is weird that the audience just picks up and leaves. I'm not sure if they were supposed to be imaginary or if it's just like showing how fickle they are in this universe, that like they're not entertained, so why are they here?
I love though that once the screens went blank, they all pull out books. Like they have books.
Yes.
Books. The books. I love that they automatically had those all with them.
So we go from X-Men the animated series to Words with the Witches, and there you go.
I'm losing them to dead trees.
Yes. Please take a screenshot of them all holding books and then Photoshop them as charmed books.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
Well, it's kind of funny too because I feel like in a way this episode is making fun of its own viewers because it's making fun of like people watching TV and not reading books, but yet we're the ones watching it.
Yeah. 12.
Mm-hmm.
Back at the mall, everybody! The X-Men are shot out of the TVs, which act as Spiral's portal. Cyclops doesn't know what just happened. What is happening?
What is going on?
Get down.
Yeah.
Back in the arena, Major Domo tells Spiral and Longshot that everything Mojo has is ruined. Longshot flirts with Spiral. Mojo comes up from the wreckage and chases the new couple, trying to convince them to work for him again. Much like an expert segue on Marvelous Galaxy of Disney, Mojo points at a screen with a jungle picture.
So I was like, okay. He's like, a jungle picture. So then I'm like, wait, is the Savage Land part of his TV?
Yeah,
or is
I
this
was
just a
confused by
transition? Or is it actually just a little photograph on the wall that goes into like, hey, let's move on to this thing over here that's like that.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I think he's just watching the Savage Land.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. In the Savage Land, the land laid savage.
I do love this joke where Longshot tells Spiral, "Did I ever tell you I dated a girl with 2 heads?" And she said, "Really? Was she nice?" Yes and no. It's so stupid.
Oh.
Yeah, the writers got jokes.
Uh-huh. I want to tell you though, the voice of Mojo was Peter Wildman, who actually has has done a lot, but he actually worked on the visual effects for Thor: The Dark World too, which is interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
And he has a YouTube channel that he doesn't post a lot, but he has a few videos on there where he writes songs, and he wrote some like anti-Republican, anti-Trump songs, which are pretty funny.
Oh, interesting.
So it's kind of a cool little parallel. But yeah, so I wanted to note that. And I guess the whole thing of Mojo is almost like they wanted to tie into that whole comedian thing, because stand-up and those comedians were really big in the 90s, especially after like Aladdin. After the success of the Genie, everyone wants to start doing stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that this Peter Wildman, like, he's such a good voice actor. I'm surprised he didn't do more in the future and went more behind the scenes.
Right. I did see that he does play Longshot. He voices Longshot in a future episode of the series. So I was like, that's funny.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I wish he did more because he was fun.
Yeah. In the Savage Land, Sauron flies at Shanna the She-Devil. She desperately fights him with the stick. Elsewhere, Professor X and Magneto are admiring the citadel Magneto built when they hear Shanna screaming, "Ah!" The two friends race off to help her. Sauron knocks Shanna down. Magneto stops Charles from helping her. He tells Charles that Sauron is too strong. We see Sauron hypnotize Shanna and carry her away.
Wow. So Shanna's full name is Shanna the She-Devil. She starred in her own comic, Shanna the She-Devil #1, in December of 1972. And she's just a human that got stranded in the Savage Land.
Oh, just kind of there.
Yeah, I adapted like Tarzan, and that's how I am now.
Yep, basically. And then Sauron, he started in X-Men #59 in August 1969 as his human form, Karl Lycos. I love his origin story. He was bitten by mutant pterodactyls, which turned him into the cursed beast that must feed on energy, especially mutants. And one thing that's funny is his name, Sauron. I was like, wow, what is the deeper meaning here? They literally, the creator just really liked Lord of the Rings and just named him after Lord of the Rings.
And he thought, they'll never make a movie of that. We won't have to worry.
Right. No one will know.
That's cool.
It's like, I'm a dinosaur, but I'm not your normal dinosaur, so I'm a sore on.
Stop it. Also fly, so I guess you could say I soar on.
Soar on the wings of the wind.
Yep. This It's fun. So now, this being such a weird episode, it's got a 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb because Eric Lewald himself said fans either kind of love this episode or hate it just because it's so different from other episodes. But how are we feeling, boys? Extreme or X out?
I think, in the theater, when one is doing any type of dramatic show, or something where there's just a lot of like heavy subject matter, or something that's darker, often the advice is to put bits of comedy in there to get everybody to kind of release that tension, because otherwise there when the hard when the big moments happen, it won't hit as hard because they're kind of wanting to laugh at some point because it's just too much. So I think this episode, I will call it extreme because it serves its purpose as preceding what looks to be a 2-part finale of season 2, and I think it fits that bill as something wacky. It's also something that the network would like because it's like a one-off kind of a thing, and I love camp. I do in many senses of the word. It's why A Witch's Tale is my guilty pleasure episode of Charmed because of the sheer camp of it all. But yeah, I just really like episodes like this, that are off the wall, kind of get people in a mood to be prepared for a finale.
Yeah. I'm gonna extreme it too, and you're right, because that's exactly what you do. Because if you don't have those moments of lightheartedness, lots of narratives can become draining. You don't have the energy to keep going, and yeah, the fact that if you can laugh and have fun, it gives you the freedom and the energy to go back into something that's darker and be more moved. So I feel you on that one. And yeah, I love being silly. I love laughing. There's something about just this lighter moment that gives a good feeling. That's what joy is. That's what silliness is. That's what the show is. That's what all we do is. So, so yeah, it's definitely good, and it's a fun time, and it gives us opportunities to see things we might not have been able to see before, and these pairings that we might have not necessarily seen before in the same way. So yeah.
Yeah, I think too, just coming from someone who's like read the source material and piggybacking off what both of you said, not only is it camp and fun, but I feel like it makes its point in a very not like in your face way with like the people reading the books and stuff like that. It's fun and funny, but it also has a deeper meaning, much like the Long Shot miniseries did, much like Kevin said, like Wall-E did the same thing where it's fun to watch, but it's also like got a very dark kind of warning message to it. So I like how seamlessly they were able to show that to kids, and adults can get something different out of it. So extreme for me too.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go on to our MXP, our most excellent player. Who is your pick, Aaron?
Oh,
I know this is a hard one. There's a few that I would say are worthy.
yeah. I'm gonna say, I'll say Jean Grey, because she kept a level head throughout the whole situation and was constantly trying to figure out ways of getting out of it, and being able to use her powers in a way that would disrupt what was happening, by understanding what was going on around her. And yeah, I think she did a excellent job, despite the wacky shenanigans that they were put through. They were just shopping for TV. Like,
Right, that would be interesting. Like you're just going about your normal day and then you're sucked into an alternate universe.
It's like, what? I didn't even leave a note.
How about you, Kevin?
See, I could be. If it was going to be different, I'd probably say someone like Spiral, but I think for me, it's Jean too. I just like the way that she was watching everything. She was trying to take in every clue she could get and see how she could twist it or use it to her advantage or find a loophole. Plus, she had the sleepy boobs, which I loved.
I almost commented on that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that moment. So yeah, I'm going to say Jean too.
Okay. Yeah, so the other one that I was kind of going between was Longshot because he did have a pretty heavy hand in saving the X-Men, but it was for a very selfish reason. So I went with Jean. And what really stood out beyond what you said, where she basically saved everybody through her observations, is the fact that she stood up to Mojo, too. She was like, what you're doing is wrong. Like, you need to stop or else we're going to kick your ass. She's very brave.
Yeah.
You tell him.
Yeah. All right. How about the X Factor? What makes this X-Men?
I'm going to say, oh, you go first.
Ooh. I think this episode in itself is representative of what being an X-Men is. I think being different from all of the other episodes, this episode could be judged one way or the other because of how different it is. But I say it being different is very much the core identity of what being an X-Men is. X-Men are different from the norm, but they still are themselves and choose to be themselves despite what everybody says about them and however they're judged, positively or negatively. And so I think this both within the TV show itself and in real life teaches us that, you can be yourself, you can be different, and have fun doing it. And that's exactly what this episode does. So that would be its X factor for me.
Wow, very deep.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I like going deep.
So yeah, X Factor. I didn't think of one till now. I'm just making it up as I go. But I'm gonna say, no matter, because this took the X-Men off guard. They did not prepare for this. They just knew that they had to stand their ground and hold their own and work together. And so, yeah, the fact that they're able to do this and make the best of it and fight and keep going and thrown into all kinds of crazy circumstances is very X-Men to me. And I'm going to say that.
Damn, you beat me to it. Because, yeah, mine's very similar. No matter who they're paired with or what situation they're in, like flying a spaceship or fighting robot people, like they just handled. They just got together and did what they needed to do. They listened to each other. They helped each other. Like, this is very X-Men. And I think the only thing that can make, like, the Mojo episodes better is if in X-Men 97... they do the X Babies because I love the X Babies.
Ooh, X Babies.
Yeah, so Mojo basically creates these like chibi versions of each of the X-Men. they do like all these shenanigans in their shows. I think they even had like an X Babies like Muppet Babies type show, which was really cute.
X-Men babies.
All right, so for next week's previously on question, we're going to keep it simple again. So I want to know, which show would you want to watch? Miami Mutants, Rogue Star, or I Dream of Jean?
Oh.
Ooh.
And we've already answered throughout the show, but I want to see what other people say.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Our next episode is a 2-part finale called Reunion. So what do we think these episodes are about?
Well, I'm going to say some type of reunion between Sinister and Cyclops and Jean, because they parted way too early, and it seemed like Sinister was being set up as the main villain of this season. I don't know if that will continue on for future seasons, but it seems probably something to do with that. Or it could be totally unrelated. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, Sinister will have a play in things. I feel like Magneto and Charles will come back and get back with the X-Men, and they're like,
oh yeah,
like Xavier, Professor, where have you been? And then like,
I didn't know they're Blanche DeBois.
Somebody's gonna sound like that somewhere along the line.
Yes.
So I guess they'll come together to fight some kind of common enemy, I would say.
Okay.
Maybe, perhaps in the Savage Lands.
Yeah, I'll give you this much at least. All the Savage Land stuff does come together in these last episodes, so it all kind of makes sense as to where it's been going this whole time.
Well, that's good, because I had no idea.
Yeah. So I'm excited to do the reunion episodes with you, and then after that we will take another break and then get into the much anticipated season 3.
Oh, it's happening.
It's happening. All right, cool. And Aaron, where can people stalk you and get to know everything about your life?
Well, if you want to know everything about my life, you can listen to Robert's Podcast Pod Friends to learn about me. I also am in various episodes throughout Robert's Podcast. Currently, we're talking about Big Brother, so you can hear me talking about that. Various an episode of Hanging with Hollowells and here, and I'm around. My music floats on throughout various podcasts as well. So, yeah. We're gonna have you on Words of the Witches for the comics at some point. Yay!
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Speaking of that, you can find me at Words of the Witches, where we're covering the Charmed books. We only have a few more left, and then Sean will join me on that show for the comics as well. So lots of that to happen and come and all that stuff. You can find me on my personal account, KGZ87 on Instagram. And I guess that's about where I be.
Nice. And you can find me on Once Upon a Cult with Rachel and Alan, our Marvelous Galaxy of Disney with Rachel and Alan. We just had kind of a big moment where Star Wars Now This, the website, actually added us to their listing of different Star Wars podcasts you can listen to. So you can find Star Wars Now This if you need more podcasts to listen to. Yay. Cool. And thank you for joining us, Aaron, and thank you for joining us, listeners. And we will see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye. Yeah. Bye.